कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। There are two more prayers. It's not in the book, but those who know, there are prayers to Srila Prabhupada, who has given the explanation to Bhagavad Gita. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So, as I mentioned, we just started these Bhagavad Gita classes, at least here in this Holy Spring area. Just 3 weeks. We had, I think, 3 sessions. So we are still in the first chapter, and we have come to text number 31. But I will, since many of you are joining here for the first time, I'll do a quick review up to where we have come, and we will proceed further. Okay. So, if you see, it's very interesting how Bhagavad Gita, the conversation, the sacred conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, it starts off with Dhritarashtra speaking. Right? The first shloka of Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Dhritarashtra. And that's the only shloka he speaks in the entire Bhagavad Gita. And what did he say? Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yutsava Mamaka Pandavasteva Kim Akurvat Sanjaya. So basically Dhritarashtra, he's sitting in his kingdom, and Sanjay, he was blessed by Vyasdev, that Sanjay sitting there, he could see the entire battle of Kurukshetra, right? And then he asked Sanjay, oh, Sanjay, my sons, right, sons of Dhritarashtra, and the sons of Pandu, they have assembled in this battlefield of Kurukshetra. After they have come there, what did they do? Right? That's the first question. And that's the only question that Dhritarashtra asked. And the main point that we discussed here, that why did our acharyas, our teachers select Bhagavad Gita to start off with Dhritarashtra speaking? Because the entire Mahabharata, Dhritarashtra is always considered as a person who is actually weak-minded. In the Bhagavatam, which is actually Bhagavad Gita and the higher is Bhagavatam, it's actually said that you, O Dhritarashtra, you will be the cause of the destruction of the entire lineage. And it's true. He was the king, but because he was weak-minded, he had that attachment to Duryodhana, the false attachment, and he was seeing difference between his sons and the sons of Pandu. He actually was just on one side, and even though, to the extent of Draupadi being disrobed in the assembly, he did not stop it. He had the power. If he had just said a word, okay, stop, no more gambling match, the whole thing would have been stopped. He did not do it, right? So you see, an entire Mahabharata, Dhritarashtra is like a weak-minded person who has like these false attachments. But why did our teachers select, Acharya select Bhagavad Gita to start off by Dhritarashtra saying the first verse? Right? And we discussed this point in our first class, that Dhritarashtra is hearing the entire conversation of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is hearing the whole conversation of Bhagavad Gita. And the meaning of Bhagavad Gita starting off with Dhritarashtra speaking the first verse tells each one of us that how do we want to read Bhagavad Gita? Do we want to hear Bhagavad Gita how Dhritarashtra heard? Or do we want to hear Bhagavad Gita how Arjuna heard? Right? And what is the difference? Dhritarashtra heard the entire Bhagavad Gita, but after that, no change. No change. He was still the same, and he was interested was the external. Who is going to win? Is there any chance that my sons can win? He was having that hope in his heart that maybe my sons will win. And he was just focused on that. But Arjun, right, he starts off, we'll discuss today in Bhagavad Gita. He has all these questions in his mind. And at the end of Bhagavad Gita, what does he say? One of my verses I really like. Nashta moha smriti labdha. He says, my moha means illusion. Nashta moha is now destroyed. Like smriti labdha, now my intelligence, my spiritual intelligence is awakened now. Now I know how to act. I know what to do. So Arjun heard, Dhritarashtra heard. Dhritarashtra, no change. Arjun, complete transformation. So how do we want to hear the Bhagavad Gita? Do we want to hear like Dhritarashtra, one here, khatam? Or do we want to take the instructions of Bhagavad Gita and say, how is this applicable to me? How can I transform my life with these words of wisdom that given by Krishna himself? Right? And we make the point that Dhritarashtra, because he was so emotionally attached, right? And he was holding on to that. Actually, I am the elder brother. I should be the king. So it was like from before, even when Pandu was, his brother Pandu was actually assigned as a king. From that time, he had this, no, I should be the king. And because he couldn't like officially be the king, he said, oh, my son should be the king. So he was carrying on that emotional attachment was so strong. That external attachment to external relation was so strong that he was blinded internally. And hence the knowledge was coming, but he couldn't accept it. Arjun, on the other hand, he actually asked questions for transforming his life. He said, yes, I have questions now. I need an answer. I want to see how this knowledge can transform my life. Right? So that's the first key point. And we see if we are too much attached to external sense gratification, then it's very hard for us to accept the knowledge and make a transformation of life. But if we are open that yes, this spiritual knowledge is important, what Krishna has spoken to Arjun, that is really important. And I want to receive this knowledge and see how I can make a change in my life. If that is our approach, then we can actually transform. So that's how Bhagavad Gita starts. A very, very powerful point to think about. Even like as we are all everyone here from the Indian background. So while growing up, we have all these rituals, we do puja, everything. And many times we are doing the same thing year after year, but we don't actually question. Like, what is the significance of this thing I'm doing, this puja or whatever? And because many times the ritual is just external, we are doing it, but it's not bringing that internal transformation. And we'll come to that, we'll discuss that point further, because that's one of the points that even Arjun raises. So our main point is, yes, we are from the Indian background, we have connection to the Vedic culture, but can we take a next step and see how every point that we are doing, every activity we are doing, how can we actually understand the inner significance of that activity and see how it can actually bring a transformation in our spiritual life? Okay, so that's how the Bhagavad Gita starts. And then so Dhritarashtra asks this, and then what happens? Then the majority of the chapter, actually the first half of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is all about the description of the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Right? So Duryodhana is actually going to his teacher Dronacharya, right? So everyone's familiar with Mahabharata, right? I'm sure. So Duryodhana goes to Dronacharya and he actually tries to incite Dronacharya's anger, right? And how does he incite? He actually says, you actually taught Drishtadumna. From Drishtadumna we know he's the son of Drupad. And he was born for what purpose? To kill Dronacharya. The whole purpose that Drishtadumna was born, that Drupad prayed, I want a son who can kill Dronacharya. And in spite of Dronacharya knowing that, he gave that knowledge to Drishtadumna. And on the Pandava side, it was Drishtadumna who was like the commander-in-chief who arranged the entire army. So Duryodhana is pointing out, see, your disciple, Drishtadumna, has arranged the entire army. So you were so liberal that you gave him knowledge, but now don't be liberal. Now we have to fight. Right? And also the other way he actually incites the anger of Dronacharya is actually he says that, your favorite disciple is who? Arjuna. And he says, see, Arjuna has come on the other side to fight with you. So now give up all your favoritism. Now you have to fight. Arjuna, your favorite disciple, is coming to fight. He's going to shoot arrows at you. Give up all your favoritism, just fight. Right? And then Gita actually says, okay, Duryodhana says, this person on their side, and then he says, our side is aparyaptam. Aparyaptam means we are very strong. Why? Because we are protected by Bhishma Pitama. But their side is paryaptam. So aparyaptam and paryaptam. There are two words they use, right? But their side is insufficient. They're not very strong. Why? They're protected by Bhima, who is not so experienced as compared to Bhishma. So he points all this. And then the next few verses talks about like how Bhishma Dev, he actually blows his conch shell. You know, when we blow conch shell, like when we do puja in the temple, first thing we blow conch shell it is announcing the beginning of something, right? So now Bhishma blows his conch shell to announce the beginning of the war, right? And then after Bhishma blows his conch shell, then we have Pandavas blowing their conch shell. So all that is mentioned. And what is the name of the conch shell? All that is given, right? Then what is Krishna's conch shell's name? Sorry. Yeah, Prabhupada asked a question that time. I was asking. Panchajanya. And Arjun is Devadatta, right? So all those names of the conch shell is also mentioned. And then after that whole thing, after the whole blowing of conch shell blown means war to start. But after the blowing of conch shell, Arjun requests Krishna. He says, "Oh Krishna," he calls Krishna Achyuta. Oh Achyuta. Achyuta means infallible one. Oh Achyuta, take my chariot in between the two armies because I want to see who is assembled here to fight. So one day, like Arjun knows who is that, because before the war, there was already this, because there were kings from all around the world. And there's already that part where like, okay, you can come support me and all those things. So Arjun knew. But still, he actually asked Krishna, take me in between the two armies. I want to see who's assembled. Yeah. And this actually brings up another very practical point for us. Like we may face, see, Arjun, throughout the Pandavas, throughout their life, how much they were actually abused. Every time, like injustice after injustice after injustice. Whether they were poisoned first, then there was the house of lac, the fire, their house was burnt. They were sent to Varnavrat and the entire house was set on fire. Right? Then later on, the gambling matches. Right? And then finally, Draupadi was destroyed. So one after another. And then after that entire gambling match, then 12 years in the forest plus 1 year of Agyatwas. Agyatwas means incognito. If you are found out in that 1 year, again another 12 years. So one after another. And from their side, they tried all the peace proposals, but nothing worked. And came to the point, war is inevitable. Right? So at that point, Arjun should have come, whole life, so much injustice. Now is the time to take revenge. Let me fight. So even at that most crucial moment in his life, what did he do? He actually paused. Right? He paused and then he actually said, let me first of all introspect the entire situation. Right? So you pause, you introspect, then you reflect. Okay, I have seen the entire situation, but what can I reflect upon it? What is important in this entire situation? And then we ask questions, very thoughtful questions. And we say this is a quality of a person who's spiritual, who's spiritually advanced. He won't just jump into any situation. Whatever is the situation, let me pause first. Instead of just reacting, can we actually think over it and then respond in the best way possible? And Arjun actually did that. So he asked Krishna, get my chariot between the two armies, because he wanted to rethink about the whole situation there. Right? That's very practical. In our life, many times situations are just put upon us. And then immediately we're just like, okay, this is what I should do. Or someone says something, immediately, right? everything comes out of our mouth. But during those situations when we are from within, our let's say our image or our identity one way is kind of shaken. At that moment, can we actually think about the whole thing? Right? Think about it. And then Arjun is asking questions. Many times when we see in the first chapter, Arjun, he does the introspection, he reflects on the situation, and then he makes so many points. And still, after using all his intelligence, and we're talking about Arjun, such an intelligent person, in spite of using all his intelligence, he felt, I cannot figure out this out. I need the help of Krishna, or Guru. So, like when we pause in the situations, many times we'll be actually like, okay, I am thinking that maybe this is the best, but maybe I should consult with someone who may be more spiritually advanced, who may have more experience in the situation, and then I should actually act in a particular situation. So Arjuna is exactly doing that. So he comes in Krishna brings his chariot in between the two armies, and then Arjuna starts speaking. Right? So we are in that section. So we are almost in verse number 31. I think we covered up to 35. Right?
Chapter 1 also called as setting the scene or setting the stage for the battle of Kurukshetra. Right?
Yes.
It's being referred as.
Yes. 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 Okay, so we are at text 35, but before we continue, are there any questions up to this point? Or any point that I just made that you like and you feel like, okay, this is something I would like to implement in our life. Like the thing about spiritual knowledge is it's good to have a lot of repetition. So even if I said something, you can just repeat the point because it's helpful for everyone that the point actually stays in our mind. So up to this point, anything that I said that you felt like, okay, this is good, or if you have a question, then we can discuss, then I'll continue.
But you like the point that you said that the spiritual person always pause and he thinks and he realizes that he needs a guru.
Yeah, someone who knows more than me, who can actually tell me what is the best way to deal with the situation. Thank you. Anyone else? Anything that you like from the points? I made so many points. Yes, please.
I mean, from Bhagavad Gita, either look from the eye of Arjuna and try to transform yourself rather than just be a weak person.
I mean, that's like the first question.
And it teaches us not only in the Bhagavad Gita, even in our day-to-day life, right? How should we look at to any problem that comes to us? Right? We cannot be looking at it as a weak, right? Try to learn from this and transform ourselves. Like this is better.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. And if someone is reading Bhagavad Gita, we can ask like, are you reading like how Dhritarashtra heard or how Arjun heard? Someone was saying something?
I mean, nowadays people want to be independent, right? I mean, I feel children they want to be very independent. So in that case, I feel Arjun also can be independent. So going to spiritual, right? He could also be independent and then take his own decisions. I mean, I feel nowadays children are wanted to be very independent. Do you think that is not needed?
So the point of being independent, I mean, now, as you rightly said, in a society is like there's a big thing that, oh, we want to be independent. I want to stand on my own. One way, each one of us has unique qualities. Right? Everyone is different, and each one of us has unique qualities. So hence, based on our qualities, we want to be like, yes, I have this unique quality. I want to independently do something. So there is a difference of like, yes, independently, I want to do something, but I want to do that by receiving knowledge. Like, practically, we cannot even work in this world without getting proper knowledge. So even like if people say, I want to be independent, still they are receiving knowledge either from their school or whatever, and using that knowledge and doing something which may be different from everyone else. But we cannot deny the fact that they are still dependent on knowledge. Like even they're working on, like let's say, a scientist. He's taking the knowledge which great scientists have already done and taking that as a foundation and doing something new. He's not going and reinventing the wheel. So similarly for Arjun, if you see, that's the whole point. Like, someone may say, Bhagavad Gita could have started off with Krishna and Arjun start speaking. That comes in Bhagavad Gita 2.8. And some spiritual groups, they say Bhagavad Gita starts from 2.8 because that's where the philosophy starts. But, we say that why is Bhagavad Gita starting from the first chapter? To actually make the point that even though Arjun was so qualified, he was the best archer. Who could defeat Arjun? Is so strong, so learned, all the good qualities he had. In spite of everything, in spite of all those good qualities, at the end of the first chapter, what does Arjun say? In spite of everything, I cannot find a way to solve this problem. I need help. I need help. So a true wise person is he who actually realizes that I need help. But what kind of help? Here we see Arjun, like, in spite of all his help, and he also comes to a point that even if we win this entire battle, still I find that something is missing. So the first chapter itself is making the point that beyond all our material qualification, there is a spiritual connection that we are all looking for. So that independence is more of, say, current society independence. But our true independence is actually when we are strengthened by the knowledge that is coming from the Shastras, and then taking that knowledge, we do something wonderful in this world. Yes, you want to add something?
Just to add on, bro,
Yes,
like,
please.
from your last week, like, the example, last week,
Yeah.
the example that you have given. And I think Arya also touched on that. So kids are like, if they want to be independent, right, they're like a small plant or a sapling, right? Which wants to grow. But if you don't protect with the fencing would be like Bhagavad Gita, like instructions what we are getting, right? It will be crushed by any animal.
Yes.
So we need to protect our kids, right? Like, with the spiritual knowledge that, like, they can grow in a right way and right manner and can comes out to be a good person in the society.
Excellent point. Excellent example. I mean, we all can relate to it. Like, they are growing, but if that protection is not there, easily get washed away. And that's like actually our culture is actually giving that fence. Our culture, our knowledge, our spiritual wisdom is creating that fence where if the fence is there, then the plant can flourish. It can grow so nicely. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita is actually saying we all can become our best version of ourselves. But we have to protect ourselves from all the distractions, everything that's taking us away from our true spiritual growth. Excellent example. Thank you. Is that okay?
Learn from you.
Yes, sir, please.
I don't know whether it is right or not, but was this the Maya that influenced Arjuna, or is it genuine of Arjuna feeling so? Because
Very
he
nice
is so
question.
insightful
Yeah.
and intellectual. And
Yes.
he is expert in some area, and he has been always a strong disciple of Krishna. From this, I mean, it's a long journey that he had with Krishna. So after all, he went in the middle of the battlefield and then he started
Yeah.
to the attachments.
So excellent question, bro. Excellent question. So actually, in the explanations to these verses, we see Prabhupada, he actually makes the point. that one way, Arjun, he had association of Krishna like throughout his group. So if you have association of Krishna, Krishna is your cousin, friend, you have association. Where is the question of the Arjun falling into Maya? But at this point, Krishna actually one way covered Arjun in such a way so that this conversation can take place for our benefit. But otherwise, Arjun is a pure devotee of Krishna. Otherwise, who can be so fortunate to have Krishna as his own cousin? And it's actually described in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Arjun said, we used to sit together, we used to eat together. And sometimes Arjun used to joke at Krishna. Oh, Krishna, you are like a king, but actually you are cowherd boy. So he used to make all these jokes. They used to actually joke at Krishna. So who's so fortunate? So Arjun actually one day he was a devotee of Krishna. But just so that this conversation takes place, Arjun is put into this situation. Very nice. Okay, so let's proceed. So now, so we talked about Arjun hitting the pause button. Now he's seeing the entire armies. And what does he see? Actually, the verse says that he sees in this army his own. This is 26, 27. He sees, wait, yeah, he sees all kinds of relatives. He sees his own father, grandfather, teacher, maternal uncle, brother, son, grandsons, friends. You see all relations on both sides. You know, both sides, he just sees his own relatives. You know, and when Arjun sees his own relatives on both sides of battle, what is the first thing, first sentiment that comes in Arjun? Like you can think, we say Arjun, what he is going through a journey, it is meant for us to go through that journey that Arjun is going. So put yourself in the place of Arjun and see how he's going and read Bhagavad Gita as his journey. So you make Arjun's journey your journey. So if you were there, and at that point you realize entire battlefield entire Kurukshetra is happening just for us, Pandavas to become the emperor. And then there were like, how many people on the battlefield of Kurukshetra?
680 million.
640 million. 640 million. That's almost twice the population of entire US. So many people on battle. And imagine Arjun's situation. What is the first point that would come in Arjun's mind? So many people on this battle. And this war is just being fought so that we become the king. What was the first sentiment that Arjun would experience? Can anyone think about it? Put yourself in Arjun's position. What is the first sentiment you would actually get? Seeing your own grandfathers, teachers, sons, all relations on both sides. What is the first thing that you would actually feel?
Selfish of feeling after sacrificing of people.
Yeah, like, the point that just for us, so many lives will be sacrificed, right? So, anyone else?
Either I win or lose, I'm still going to lose my all relatives.
Okay. Okay, so even if we win this battle, the relationship on the other side, they have to be killed, but they are my own relations. So,
You might be memorizing all these, having gurus like from childhood, right?
Yeah.
He wanted to fight with them.
now he has to fight with them. Yeah.
Very tough position.
Yeah, very difficult position. So the first sentiment that Arjun has is compassion. Compassion in the sense that he's thinking, all these people will be killed just so that we become the kings. And that's the first doubt, Arjun. He was feeling compassion. No, I don't want so many people to be killed. And is that a good sentiment? No, put yourself in Arjun's position. Is that a good sentiment? Yeah. I mean, anyone would say, like, anyone who has like a little bit soft heart would actually say, no, it's not worth it. Even though all the injustices have happened, it's not worth it. So the first feeling that Arjun had was compassion, right? And then the second point, we also talked about the point of questions. What kind of questions would you ask?
What am I achieving by this war?
Wonderful. Like, even if the war happens, and let's say we win, is that victory even worth it? With the death of so many people? Actually described that in Bhagavatam, it is described that even after the battle of Kurukshetra, when Yudhishthira was assigned as a king, the emperor, even after that, he was feeling in his heart, so many people died because of us. And he's feeling so like heartbroken, and he's having this feeling of repentance, right? And it is said, who could actually satisfy the heart of Yudhishthira finally? So he was actually there, and even Vyasadeva came to console Yudhishthira. No, this was Dharma Yuddha. You were established, so Dharma is established. But still Yudhishthira was not satisfied. Vyasadeva spoke to him, Krishna spoke to him. But finally, he was not friends. Then Krishna said, let's go to Bhishma Pitama. He's lying on the bed of arrows in the battlefield. He will give you the true knowledge. And then they all go there. It is described like, all the Pandavas, now they are established as the emperors. And then they go to Bhishma Pitama, who's lying on the bed of arrows. And there, Bhishma Pitama actually gives them knowledge of like Raja Vidya, Dharma Vidya, all these different sciences. And after hearing that, Yudhishthira said, okay, whatever happened was for establishing. But coming back to the point of, what is the point? Your point. Yeah. So even after we win this, is this really worth it? Any other questions that will come in your mind?
Arjun was thinking that is it worth so many children will lose their father, the women will lose their husband.
Yeah, I mean, imagine like such a big war. How many women would actually become widows? Right? How many children will lose their father? Right? Okay. So let's see. So three questions that I have put it in this way, three questions that Arjun asked. And this is very practical to even for us. So any situation in our life, when we are pausing, what can be maybe three questions that may give us hints that maybe let me try these three questions. The first question that Arjun asked is similar to what Mataji said here, right? He actually asks, he says like, even if we win this entire battle, the people with whom I would like to share the victory, they will be dead. And it's a very practical point. Like, this is a point about material things versus relationship. You can gain so much material opulence, but if you're doing that at the cost of your relationships, is that really worth it? So what is more important, relationships or the material things that we get? Relationship. But many times we may just like, I want this thing and not even care for a particular relation. They say in this world, we use people and love things. Right? We use people to get things, right? But actually, how should it be? It should be opposite. Right? We love people and we use things to cherish that relationship. And it's practical. If you get a new car, let's say, right? The joy in the car, like how much will you enjoy the car itself? It's so limited. The first ride is fun. But if you can show it to someone, see, this car has done a feature, new feature, then you feel happy. So Arjun is making something. Relationships are actually more important than just getting all these material positions. Right? So this is the first question that Arjun asked. But even if we win, then what is the value of that victory if we cannot share it with our loved ones? See your time. Okay. So everyone knows the story of the king with the four queens. Here, you know. King with four queens.
No.
Okay, so I recently just told this story in another class, so I was just relating to this point of relationships and things. I'll quickly get this. It's not so much a Shastra, it is I think it's from Buddhist or something. I'm not sure, but very practical. So a king had four queens, right? The first queen, he used to like always like take such good care, get so much like material things, jewelry, nice clothes, and like take so good care. Anything that's needed, just buy it, just decorate that queen. That's the first queen. Second queen, um, yeah, second queen. So whenever he used to actually, the king used to go out, he used to always bring his second queen. Say like, oh, see, this is my queen. So his second queen was more like, his prestige, his fame, his position, the like representation. So he used to always take the second queen. And then the third queen, third queen is whenever there are problems, he used to turn to his third queen. The third queen used to always support. So like, okay, this problem is there, I'll help you out. When there's need, the third queen used to come and help him. And then the fourth queen used to just kind of like not so take good care of her, just kind of ignore her. And then you're getting where the story is going. So finally, when the king is going to die, he actually asks. Now he's going to die. So he says the first queen, he approaches first queen first and says, like, will you come with me? I'm going to die. Will you come with me? And the first queen said, no, no. I was with you all this time, but now I'm not going to leave you. And then his heart like, everything I did for the first queen. Whenever wanted she anything, Amazon.com, do our delivery. But still, she's not going to support me. And then he was heartbroken. And then the second queen, he said, okay, maybe the second queen will come with me. And the second queen actually came and said, I was with you, but after you go, I will marry another person. And then the king was really like, all this time I have been, taking care of you, and now you're going to marry another person? So the king was like so depressed, like, oh, two queens. And then maybe the third queen will support me. Right? So he approached the third queen. The third queen was sympathetic, and she said, like, okay, I'll be with you, but just until your funeral. I will walk with you till the funeral, but after that, it's your own journey. The queen was like, no hope. All the three queens who he took so good care of, they did not support him. They are not willing to give him company like in the afterlife. But then the fourth queen spoke up in a very soft voice. I will come with you. And the king was thinking, this is the fourth queen that I always ignored. All throughout my life, she was the one I never gave time to, never, took care of. And she's the one she's saying that I will come with you. And then the king was repenting. Oh, I should have given more time to this fourth wife. She's the one who's coming with me. Right? So that's the story. But now you know who the four queens are. The first queen is actually our own body. So we took so much care of our body. Anything the body needs, okay, let's go get it. Best clothes, jewelry, everything we do. At the time of death, is the body going to come with us? It's going to leave us. Second queen is our fame, our prestige. And that's why the king used to, wherever he's going, he used to show, oh, this is my position, see? Right? And what did the second queen say? After you marry, I will remarry. So all our prestige, our opulences, everything, after we go, someone else will take it. And third queen is who? The third queen was sympathetic. She said, I'll walk with you till your funeral. And that's our relatives, our friends, our relatives. And they will support us in times of need. But how far? At the time of death, they will come, they'll walk to the funeral, and that's it. And who's the fourth queen? It's our real self. And how much time do we give to our real self? We just ignore our real self. Lifetime after lifetime. But it's the real self that really matters. So that's a nice story. You can tell your kids also, to actually make them think that, what is really more important. Right? So, think of a story with material things and relationships. So first point, what was Arjun's first question? Even if I win this entire war, I will not be able to enjoy that victory. I will not be able to show share that victory with the relatives with whom I would like to enjoy. Right? Because Bhishma Pitama will be there, etc. Second question. Right? Very, very practical question. He said, everyone here in this battlefield is assembled and they are willing to give up their property, their lives. Why? Out of greed. Out of greed. Everyone is here. But everyone is doing a particular thing. But does that make it right? In this world, if you just see the world around us, there's one big misconception in this entire world. What is it?
We are not immortal.
I'm going to live here forever.
I'm going to live forever. Okay.
Immortal.
Yeah. Whatever I have, I'm going to live forever. Okay. Anything else? What else? The society is just like kind of like ingrained in our consciousness. That almost is like we cannot separate.
We are our body.
Oh, we are our body. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I just want to hear what all comes out. Well, very nice points. Yeah.
I am the best.
I'm the best. I am the center of the world. Yes. Yes.
From our childhood, we keep learning about, study hard, then get a good job, then buy house, marry, get children, you're settled, you're successful.
Yeah, that's a very good point. The world is actually a society is showing us that if you do all these things, right, good house, car, Tesla, wife, children, then that's it. I am perfect. My life is successful. That's what the society tells us. The way I want to say it's related to what Prabhu was saying. The way I was going to put this point is the society tells us that our convenience is our happiness. Convenience in the sense like, oh yeah, we need a nice house, we need a nice car, we need this, we need this. But that defines our happiness. But is that true? It's not material things that make us happy. We need those things for convenience. Okay, you can get it. You can have, be convenient. We're not saying, okay, don't use your cars, etc., etc. But that is not our happiness. Our happiness is not our happiness and convenience are two different things. But society says, if you're convenient, good house, good property, you're happy. But actually, if you see the people who search, the people who are really happy in this world, when there was a survey of, they did all around the world, which is the most happiest country? Finland? Okay. Anyway, I had maybe, there is like different surveys, but one I heard was Bangladesh, of all people. So, of all countries. And one can see when people actually search that who is really happy. Actually, it's not related to how much opulence they have, how much money they have. But we think that, oh, if he's rich, that means he's happy. But there's no connection. Sometimes someone who has a simpler life, he's more happy than one who has like opulence and all these properties. Right? So Arjun's point was that everyone is here. They're willing to fight and give up their life, their property. But does that make it right? Should I just blindly follow all these people? Right? One of our teachers makes this point. There's this rat race. We say rat race. The rat race, everyone get into IIT, do this, so much competition. You have to fight the rat race. And he always used to say, even if you fight the rat race, and even if you win, still you're a rat. Still you're a rat. That's not who we are. So to think about what the society is defining, and is that really what is the best thing for me? The second question, right? The third question. Yeah.
So we have to live in the society.
Yes.
So how do you still living and not getting into it? How do you do that?
It's a very nice point. Actually, Krishna speaks of this further in the Bhagavad Gita. Like I'm pointing out these things, but I'm not giving the solution because that comes later. But I will answer your question since you asked. See, the thing, as I mentioned, it's not wrong to have a house, a car, a good education. But thinking that this is what defines our success, that is wrong. But using the things, what we have, for a higher purpose, then it's fine. Like you have a cell phone, right? Everyone. You cannot. More important than breathing is now to have a smartphone, right? Everyone has a smartphone, right? But smartphone, you have, someone can just use a smartphone, play video games whole day, Facebook, this, social media, waste the whole day. But someone can use the same smartphone and use it for, maybe if they're studying Bhagavad Gita or like hearing some spiritual wisdom, like organizing this program. I mean, we all use smartphone, WhatsApp. Without WhatsApp, we can have coordinated prasadam, who is bringing what item, which house is going. We are using the phone. So we are not denying the use of these objects, but we are saying, what is the right purpose behind it? Right? Use things for what it's meant for. And Bhagavad Gita is actually telling us what is our ultimate purpose of our life. To actually elevate our spiritual consciousness back to its original pure state. And if you're using everything towards a spiritual development, then there is no harm in getting all those things. So you can live in a society. I mean, like even my friend circle, those who are like devotees, like last weekend we had this devotee from Atlanta who gave class. You met him, right? Like he and his wife both are MDs, and nice position, like that doctors treating patients. They have a regular life, they did good education, everything. But what is their focus? Just on spiritual life. Even their children, like their son didn't come, but he plays mridanga so nicely, sings such nice kirtans. The spiritual objective is their main focus. Even while doing whatever they're doing, they're keeping their goal clear. So that's the difference. Okay, let's see the time. We have, okay, so the third point, I'll just make this third point. So first point was material things versus relationship. Second point was everyone here is acting out of greed and lust. Does that make it right? Rethink what is really important in my life. And then the second and third point, Arjun says, even if I win the entire three worlds, we talk of the entire material world as three, right? Svargaloka, middle planetary system, and lower planetary. Arjun says, even if I win all these three worlds, become the king of all these three worlds, still, oh Krishna, I will find no pleasure in that victory. And that's also like, going back to, we already indicated that it's not material things that will give us happiness, family. We are all looking deep within us. Our search is for that spiritual connection. Like how much of material things you may give a person, there will be like some temporary happiness. Oh, I have this, I have this. But real happiness that we're looking for, that is from that spiritual connection. Imagine Arjun is saying, I'll get everything. Three kingdoms, I mean, three worlds, I can be the emperor. In spite of getting all of that, I don't see myself being happy by this entire situation. So if everything material is not going to give us happiness, then where is happiness beyond that? Where is happiness beyond that? What is that happiness that we are all, underneath? We may not be constantly thinking of it, but that's what is we are all craving for. Like you say this, like if you see any Bollywood, Hollywood movie or any novel, how does it end? And then after the hero, heroine get together and then they live happily ever after, right? That's how, like, that's the theme. If the movie is not like that, then it's like, oh, not so good. Anyway, so general theme is what? We are all looking for happiness, which is happily ever after. But does that happily ever after ever exist?
Not even moments.
Hmm?
I'm saying it changes very. Next moment.
I mean, even if you consider, like, they show happily ever after and they got married and then that's all life is happy. But all of us here, I guess everyone is married here, we know after the marriage, then the challenges really start.
Life is this start.
Life starts. The problems, anxieties. Before marriage, you're like, I didn't have to think of so many things. Now I have to think mortgage, I have to pay this insurance, that insurance, family, this, that. So where is that happily ever after? First of all, there's no ever after because at a particular time, we all leave our body. So that is an aspiration for us to be happy, which is eternally there. I want to be happy forever. But where is that desire coming from if we ourselves are not going to live forever? And that tells us that that desire is coming from our spiritual self. Because our spiritual self is what? It is eternal. Even the body changes, the Atma is the same, eternal. And the true nature of the Atma is what? Satchidananda, Ananda, bliss. That's the true nature of a self. And that's what we are looking for. That connection with our true spiritual self is what we are looking for. And if that is not satisfied, you can have all the objects in these three worlds. Still you will not be satisfied. And Arjun is making exactly the same point. So these are the three main questions that Arjun actually says. And further, there are, this is the main three questions. And then further, he gives reasons why he feels he should not fight. The first reason we already talked, compassion. He says, because of this war, so many people will be killed, so I don't want to fight. Second reason, he says, like to shoot arrows at teachers like Bhishma, like Dronacharya, grandfathers like Bhishma Pitama, we will incur sinful reactions. So I feel if I fight, I will incur sinful reactions, hence I don't. That's the second point he says. Okay. And then the third point is a little bit more elaborate. Maybe we'll discuss that next time. Third point, he basically talks of like if elderly people in the family are killed, then what happens when the family tradition gets lost? If family tradition is lost, then what happens? Then the families don't realize what is the importance of our tradition, our culture, and then they engage in adharma. Right? When they engage in adharma, then the whole society is in chaos. So his third point is, if this war is fought, all the elderly people, who are supposed to guide us in our life, give us the spiritual values, the family tradition, what is really important, the culture, they will be killed. And with that, we will lose our culture and the whole society will be in chaos. And that makes the point that important if there's family traditions, what does that do? That protects us. And particularly Arjun points out like how he talks about the importance of protection for women. Particularly for women, he actually makes this point. Why? Because women are the ones who are going to give birth to the next generation. So if the women itself, they themselves are engaged and they lose their family tradition, they are engaged in adharma, the next generation will be what? Adharma. Then the whole society is in place. So that's the third reason he gives. So we'll discuss this family tradition more next time. Importance of these family traditions, importance of generation after generation passing on these spiritual values, and then we receiving it, passing on to the next generation. Why is it so important? And what kind of family traditions are really important? So that we'll discuss next. So let's see any comments, questions, realizations at this point. Is it okay? Anyone? It's actually so, Bhagavad Gita is so practical, like even today, like we discuss so many points. You take one of these points, apply it in your life, your life will transform. Your life will change for the best. Would anyone like to share? Like I always, like to hear like any point that you heard, please repeat because our memory is, just. I mean, in Kali Yuga, memories are very, very fickle. We hear something and then after some time we just forget. But it's good when repetition actually keeps those points alive in our consciousness.
Would you like the point you said that the real happiness lies in our true spiritual connection of reason?
Spiritual connection, yeah, very nice. There's a verse we'll come to in, you can make a note, Mataji, 266. Chapter 2, 6, like Krishna talks about that. Without that connection, there is no happiness. Without that happiness, there is no peace in our life. It will come to. Any other points anyone would like to share? Feel free. There's no. Yeah.
It feels like we have heard this in previous class last week.
Yes.
It feels like I mean, for me, I'm talking about it. It's like I should keep hearing this. This is I know that we spoke, but it feels so nice to hear it again.
Yeah.
And so many things like you said, memory. I forgot. You asked a question. Oh, I don't know. I heard it, but I forgot it. But repeating this is very nice. One thing again, it just comes back to me that I know we discussed this before, and then I should follow it. I'm not able to follow it, and it's not happening. Even though I'm listening next time, not happening. Which is the between two
Armies,
armies, stopping there and then thinking about it and applying this to our life is that any moment that comes to us, do we do that? We should do that, we know it, but we don't do that. And that's the thing, feels like I'm failing to follow it. I know I need to do that. That's the thing.
Actually, the point is spiritual life is a journey. When we hear such points, we feel like, okay, now I want to come. Like we may hear a point that every situation I want to pause, I want to reflect, I want to ask intelligent questions, and then act. It sounds wonderful if you can do it, right? So we know that this is the standard, and maybe we are here. Any situation happens, we just react right away, right? We know we are here, and normally, what do we try? We say, I want to go jump from here to here. But that jump never happens. What we have to do from here, one step in that direction, one step. So don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. That's the key point. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. So one step. So even from today's entire discussion, one step can I take towards spirituality in my life? Like we chanted the Hare Krishna Bhava. So, okay, every day, can I take 10 minutes, just chant Hare Krishna? See how I feel. Can I do that? 10 minutes everyone can take out of their day. It's not difficult. Even the most busy person. Like once there was an event, so we had like a Gita table, Bhagavad Gita table. And one doctor, he came and he said like, oh, I'm so busy. I said like 10 minutes you should take out. It's so important. Because if you don't recharge your mind, then anything material is not recharged, then what happens? It loses its efficiency. So he said, I don't have 10 minutes. I don't have 10 minutes to even chant. I said, if you don't have 10 minutes, you have to take at least 20 minutes to chant because you are so busy that you have forgotten what is really important in your life.
That makes me one thing happy about you just said that hearing that I became a little bit okay, that recharge you talked about, right? So when I hear this multiple times, I'm reminding myself that yes, I should do it. And that's the progress I'm making and thinking.
Like, just the point of mind I was saying, just like, there was this person, like a tree cutter. He had an axe. And then initially, in one day, he was cutting 3 big trees. And the boss was impressed. Like, 3 big trees you're cutting with a single axe? So nice. Wonderful. And he increased like his incentives. I'll give you more, you're so efficient. And he saw after a few days, and he was cutting 2. And then after like 2 weeks, he came. And the whole day, he was not even able to finish 1 tree. And then the boss came and told them, I'm seeing that your efficiency is reducing. And the boss observed, like, I see he's putting all his effort. What is lacking? And he came and told them, you should take time to sharpen your axe.
Yes.
And he said, I don't have time for that. I have to do 3, right? So that's what we do. We don't take time to sharpen our mind, our intelligence, get that spiritual wisdom. And then naturally our efficiency will reduce.
Just to add on to the question and what you said, Prabhu, so when we are here and we need to go here, right? So every school has a teacher. Every college has a professor, right? And in the spiritual journey, we have a guru, right? Who help us to progress.
Right.
So as you said, step by step, right? I know this is the benchmark.
Yeah.
And I'm here.
Yes.
Bhagavad Gita tells me, this is what I need to do. But how do I do that? And I'm going to fail. So either I don't take a step, or I take a step and I take a shelter of some guru and figure out how do I reach it.
Very nice. Yeah. So that one step progress in the right direction. Like, maybe a point today you heard, or maybe you ask a guru and say, okay, I want to progress in the spiritual life. How do I do that? But, everyone here, like, if you want, you can take this, like, how I started chanting was just this. Someone just told me, like, I was in 10th standard, and said, like, hey, you're going to school every day. Before you go to school, 10 minutes, chant Hare Krishna. And I just felt like, okay, let me just try it out. Like, I didn't know any Bhagavad Gita philosophy or anything. But I said, like, he's saying, he seems like a nice person speaking for. He's saying that not that he's going to get anything out of that. He's just speaking that I may progress somehow. I said, okay, I'll do it. And every day before going to school, 10 minutes. I did it for 1 week. And then at the end of 1 week, I already knew this is something special. End of 1 week, every day is 10 minutes. So this Maha Mantra is so powerful. Even when I was in 10th grade, I could experience that this is taking me to a different level. Internally, my consciousness, even like small things that used to disturb me, all those things, I'm already feeling a difference in my consciousness. Just 1 week. So, if you want to see that positive change, okay, 10 minutes, chant Hare Krishna, see how you feel. But you have to make time for it. You have to make time. This is so important, we have to make time. Especially morning, if you have no time. First of all, making time is that's difficult. If you say morning, that's like even impossible. But morning is actually the best time. Get up 15 minutes early and then sit, chant. Do one round, 108 times, chant Hare Krishna. See how it transforms your life. And spiritual life is not something that is, someone has to tell us that, oh, this is what you will feel. It says, Pratyakshvagam Dharma, 9th chapter, Krishna says. You can experience how you're growing spiritual life, how spirituality is transforming your life. You can experience. Like I had that small experience after 1 week of chanting. And then after that, I said, like, yes, this is important. And then I started reading Bhagavad Gita a little bit, learning a little bit, and it increased my chanting. I started doing more japa. That's all experience. So it's like wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita plus your practical implementation. Both go together. Okay, so any other final thoughts? Okay, I hope, I'm very grateful to each one of you who came here. I just hope that something that you heard today will help you in your life, to grow in your life, and to take maybe one step towards our spiritual progress. Thank you to each one of you for coming. Hare Krishna. So as I mentioned, that we just started these classes. Like this was, and we have been doing Bhagavad Gita classes for many years actually. Started one in Cary in 2013. So it's been some time. But this group we just started a few weeks back. And we are going to just do it Holly Springs, Pickaway Verina, these two, and maybe sometimes Apex if someone is interested to host. And we are just rotating between different houses. So if you like to be a part of this group, we have a WhatsApp group. You can just join, you'll get updates about our programs. You can let Anup Prabhu know right there. So just give him your number, he'll add you to a group. So every Saturday you'll know when the program is there, where the address, or you can go to Haripad Prabhu. And and then also children, you can already hear they're learning some bhajan. They learn like philosophy from Bhagavad Gita, which is relevant to them at their age. It's so important at the foundation. And when they're growing up, give them, empower them with the spiritual wisdom. It will help them throughout their life. So if you want to be a part of a weekly or whenever you can, just give your numbers to Prabhu or Anup Prabhu. So we can put you on the WhatsApp group and you'll get all our updates. Thank you so much. Nice meeting all of you. Hare Krishna.